Hello and welcome to Health Conversations with Dr. Shraddha, where medical science meets real life. Every episode, we take everyday health questions and turn them into simple, evidence based conversations. I'm glad you're here. Today's topic is something many of us say almost every week, that is, I am exhausted. But here is something interesting. Sometimes we are actually tired, sometimes we are burned out, and those are not the same thing. Today, let us understand the difference. So, to begin with, first let me tell you a story of two people, Neha and Arjun. Now, first meet Neha. She had an incredibly busy week, late night meetings, missed meals, not enough sleep. By Friday evening, she is exhausted. She sleeps well over the weekend, spends time with family, goes for a walk, and by Monday, she feels much better. Now, meet Arjun. For almost a year, he has been working for 12 hours per day. Emails during breakfast, calls during dinner, even on vacation, he is checking messages. Finally, he takes a week's leave. Everyone says to him that you will come back refreshed. But after the holiday, nothing changes. He is emotionally drained, he has lost enthusiasm, even replying to one email feels difficult for him. He starts wondering, what is wrong with me? Now, see, both people are exhausted, but only one may be experiencing burnout. So, what is the difference? To answer that, let us first understand what fatigue actually is. Most of us have experienced fatigue, like after a viral infection, or after traveling, or after taking care of a sick family member, or just simply after several nights of poor sleep. Fatigue is a feeling of reduced physical or mental energy. Sometimes it could be both. Now think of your mobile phone. You have been using it all day. Battery reaches 5%. You plug it into the charger. It slowly returns to 100%. Our bodies work in a similar way. Good sleep, balanced nutrition, hydration, physical activity, and recovery, all these help to recharge us. But here is something important. Fatigue is not always caused by lifestyle. Sometimes medical conditions such as anemia, thyroid disorders, sleep disorders, vitamin deficiencies, certain medications, or mental health conditions can also contribute. That is why persistent fatigue should not be simply ignored. Now, here is where things become more interesting because burnout is not simply being extra tired. According to World Health Organization, burnout is described as an occupational phenomenon resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. Notice something important. The definition doesn't say working hard, it says chronic stress that is not being managed. Burnout has three main features. First is emotional exhaustion, second is feeling mentally distant or increasingly negative about work, and third is feeling less effective than you used to be. Now imagine driving your car. Fatigue is like running low on fuel, whereas burnout is driving for months while the engine keeps overheating. Adding more petrol will not repair the engine. It needs attention. That is why some people take a vacation, return to work, and within 2 days they feel exactly the same again. The issue was not simply a lack of sleep, it was prolonged stress. Now you see, burnout and fatigue can look similar, and this is where many people become confused. Both fatigue and burnout can cause poor concentration, reduced productivity, irritability, and feeling drained. But here is a simple way to remember it. Fatigue usually responds to recovery, while burnout often requires recovery and addressing the source of ongoing stress. Another important point is burnout can share symptoms with depression and anxiety. However, they are not the same condition. Only a qualified healthcare professional can determine what is contributing to a person's symptoms. So the question is, can fatigue eventually lead to burnout? Well, sometimes yes. Now imagining you're ignoring every warning light in your car. You are driving every day, never stopping, never servicing it, and eventually small problems become the bigger ones. Similarly, persistent stress without adequate recovery may increase the risk of burnout in some people. Remember, recovery is not a reward, it is part of maintaining health. So, the major question is what can we do? Now let us finish with something practical. If you are simply tired, ask yourself a few questions. Am I sleeping enough? Am I eating balanced meals? Am I staying hydrated? Am I moving my body regularly? Or have I been unwell recently? Small habits matter. If work related stress feels overwhelming, try building recovery into your routine. Take regular breaks, protect your sleep, create boundaries between work and personal time whenever possible. Reconnect with activities that genuinely help you relax. True recovery is anything that leaves you feeling calm and mentally refreshed afterwards. It might be a walk or listening to music, reading, gardening, spending time with loved ones, or simply sitting quietly for a few minutes. Ask yourself, do I feel calmer after doing this? If the answer is yes, you are giving your mind a chance to recover, and do not hesitate to ask for support. Sometimes talking to someone is the first step towards feeling better. Now, let's move on to an important question. When should you see a doctor? If fatigue lasts for several weeks, keeps getting worse, or begins to affect your daily life, please seek medical advice. Similarly, if you experience prolonged emotional exhaustion, significant changes in mood, sleep, or daily functioning, it is important to speak with a qualified healthcare professional. These symptoms deserve proper evaluation rather than self diagnosis. So, friends, feeling tired doesn't always mean burnout, and burnout doesn't mean you are weak. Our minds and bodies are incredibly resilient, but they also need recovery, and sometimes they need support too. I hope today's conversation helps you to recognize this difference. If you found it useful, consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from it. I am Dr. Shraddha. Thank you for joining me for another health conversation. Until next time, take care of yourself.